celebration, greetings to all and sundry. My dear people of Ambazonia, my dear people of the southern Cameroons, brave warriors of our liberation movement. Accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro, this day. Today is Sunday, and this Sunday is the 9th of February 2025. And I know this is just gone past 10 p.m. in Boya. It should be about the same 10 p.m. in Bangui. That should also be 10 p.m. in Kwanja, in Ashong. And it should be the same 10 p.m. in Tabiken. I want to extend regards to the people of Ntenako in Manu. My dear people of Ambazonia, we are 2 days away from the celebration of a lie. One of those lies that have brought us to where we are today. But before I get on to that, sometimes when we really do handle issues, we also want to value feedback. And so when there is feedback, oh my goodness, I guess I'm having some challenges getting to that feedback, but we will get there though. And when there is feedback, we will do all we necessarily should do to get to that feedback. And so some of the feedback that I got regarding our last discussion on the situation of the so-called funds of Momo who expectedly were in Bangui today at the residence of the colonial senior divisional administrator, desecrating our tradition. There were quite some reactions that came. Unfortunately, we're having some technical issues, but I'll share those reactions in our very next broadcast. So we will not be having those reactions now because of some technical challenges. But in our next broadcast, I will not hesitate to bring that information. My people, in the lead up to February 11, usually the people of La République du Cameroon do their level best to create a lot of hazard in our land. They will wreak havoc on our youth. They will go from one neighborhood to the other, carting people in the useless kind of thing called stop and frisk, or that they call commonly in French Cameroon or in La République du Cameroon, Kale Kale. In most circumstances, we interpret to mean that they just want to capture our youth, keep them, go and force them and give them uniforms to march on the 11th, to give the impression that our people are celebrating a lie, that our people are celebrating the distortion of our history. But too often, it doesn't just end at that. They go beyond just that and go as far as extorting a lot of money from these young people. In some cases, those who are not able to pay the amount of money they require from them face two kind of challenges. Challenge number one, either you are killed like they did to the young man in Boyo because he could not give them 10,000 CFA. A young man was less than 16 years old. I don't know where they expected him to get 10,000 CFA to bribe them with. They kill you outrightly, or they will frame you up and say that you are an apologist of the armed conflict going on between La République du Cameroon and the southern Cameroon in our land. That you are one of those resisting Mr. Paul Biya's genocidal campaign in our land. And they ship you to Yaoundé, where you get all forms of torture and dehumanization. This is a thing that we condemn year in, year out. But those who claim and move around calling themselves our elite and claim that they speak for us and that they even stand for us, they even pretend sometimes that they're in the parliament of La République du Cameroon or in the senate of La République du Cameroon for us. Those ones are always mute. I wonder when Belamoki Charles, alias Ngaringaringa, was when today Mr. Paul Biya's talks in great support, Boya, went from door to door, knocking and breaking people's doors and removing people from their houses. If you doubt what I'm saying, watch this video then. The video has no sound because the people who were taking the videos were themselves threatened by what could happen to them. So they were so scared even to be talking in the background. But you can see for yourself what is going on. Mr. Paul Biya's talks going from door to door, knocking. If you don't open the break into people's house, cutting them out, cutting them into cars and carrying them away for no good reason at all. Yet, those who are supposed to stand up and fight for our sake will not do a thing. Just continue to watch. Very painful experience. What did our people ever do to deserve all of this? Whenever I bring out some of those videos, it really hurts me. I feel so horrified that this kind of thing is happening, and people who are supposed to stand out and cry out and say no, enough of this nonsense, they will say nothing. Where are the chiefs? Where are the chiefs? What are they saying? All they know is to go to Yaoundé and say that they are signing for Mr. Paul Biya to go for another mandate at the age of 92 or even 93, maybe even 95. It's shameful. I know that our church leaders have started talking, but I would want our church leaders to even be more vocal with circumstances like these ones, where the people are outrightly dehumanized and disabused like this. This is unacceptable. Really unacceptable. My people, before I really get to talking a lot about this whole nonsense called February 11, and if you are just tuning in, I'll recommend you fasten your seatbelt, settle down, get a glass of water. If it's a glass of some wine you want to get to feel good, or a bottle of beer, feel free, feel relaxed, and make sure you share the link as much as you can, because this package is quite rich. We have a lot of information to share today. Listen, the next clip I'm going to show you is usually my passing briefly through La République du Cameroon, because I like us to see what is happening there. I've told people that 2025 is an apocalyptic year in La République du Cameroon, and a lot of things are already brewing. Too much is already ongoing. This is the more reason why, as Ambazonians, as Southern Cameroonians, we have, especially those of you who did backslide, those of you who are standing on the sidelines, those of you who are only paying lip service to our liberation movement, those of you who are only screaming Ambazonia, Southern Cameroon so much now because you are threatened one way or the other wherever you are, please come back to the fold. We need everyone on board. If you can contribute in any way, you have any money to put into support this liberation movement, really don't hesitate, because this is absolutely important. We are getting to a very important turning point in our liberation movement. And before I even move on to that, to the next cut, let me say this, lest I forget. While I was getting into the studio, I followed an audio message sent out from the Amber Newsline. In that audio message, the speaker was saying the following. He was saying that people in Yenbo is in Bengui. Yenbo is in Bengui local government area. He was saying there are people in Yenbo who have been drinking, staying up late, and all of those things, and defying every regulation put in place by the self-defense volunteers, both for the safety of the people and in accordance with what they consider to be the security rules to allow them to engage with the dogs from La République du Cameroon. Next, they said that there are so many schools that they have heard in Bengui and some in Mezam that are getting ready to send people's children, innocent children, to go and participate in celebrating a lie on February 11. He was promising that they, the self-defense volunteers for whom he is speaking, were promising fire and brimstone to any school that will be caught participating in the celebrations. He said the schools that participate run the risk of being completely shut down. My people of Ambazonian, I will tell you this. You are aware, and I want to be very clear on this. I will never ever promote violence. I will never ever foster any action that can put our children in harm's way, especially schools, since we make clear that the children should go to school Tuesday till maybe they go right up until Saturday. But I will say this here because I'm concerned about the safety of the civilian population. I always say this, folks, don't put yourself in harm's way. My concern is that you should be alive, that we should all be alive together by God's grace to celebrate on that great day when we will be celebrating our freedom, when we will be celebrating our country, when we would have taken back our country and we are dancing and shouting, free, free, free at last. I will say this because usually when you get such promises, when you get such threats come in, the agents of La République du Cameroon that are looking for every means possible to tarnish our liberation movement are always on standby to execute horrible things, to visit horrible things on our children and on those schools. Because later on, they will use this soundbite to justify that this must have been done by the Ambazonian freedom fighters. Whether it will be true or it will be false, at that time, you will be gone. The people of La République du Cameroon will deceive you right now that don't worry, come and participate, we will assure your security. But you and I know they have never ever been able to assure the security of anyone. They can't even assure their own security, so they can't assure your own security. This is something you need to know. This is a lesson you need to learn before you go out to send your children in harm's way. These are Ambazonian children. These are the future of our country. This is the more reason I'm urging you all, please keep your children at home. The people of Bengui are heard in that audio. He was calling Momo in general as the place most infested of what he referred to as black legs. Be careful. Look at that guy who was calling himself Savior, General Savior in Batibo. When he made all the rantings, all the noise, all the whatever in Batibo, right in the heart of the city, he was so certain that the bee had his back. He knew at all times that they will have his back and that he will be protected. What happened? When the day came, and when he found himself paying with his life, where were they? Is he still alive today to make those threats? We all remember, or we all recall Mr. Lukum in Jakiri, who went out on 20th May and marched. There were just 3 of them. The other 2 were from Yaoundé. As soon as the march past was over, they jumped into armored cars and took off. They left Mr. Lukum to his fate. Less than 3 days after, Mr. Lukum's remains were found. We should learn from these lessons, my people. We should learn from all these lessons. Keep our children safe. Keep them home. Citizens of La République du Cameroon are understanding now more than ever before that the only language that Yaoundé understands is hard language. And more than ever before, they are vomiting it out. I want to take us to a village in the West region, specifically in the Ndé. That village is called Bazu. Just listen to the pastor of the Église évangélique in Bazu preaching this Sunday. Just listen.
Seigneur, nous te supplions que l'Église nous transforme véritablement et que notre manière de te servir soit différente. Qu'on arrête de tromper les gens, Seigneur. Nous te supplions, ô Dieu. Nous voulons la vérité. Nous voulons la justice. On a tué les gens injustement. On a fermé la bouche des gens. On a décimé les familles injustement. Au nom de la vérité. Au nom de la vérité, Seigneur. Les gens sont enfermés dans les prisons. Voilà nos frères et nos soeurs qui souffrent dans le loto. Et tous les jours, on dit qu'on cherche. On connaît la solution. Mais on refuse de prendre la voie de la solution. Parce que l'effort de guerre donne beaucoup d'argent. Et pendant que les uns meurent, les autres s'enrichissent au détriment des uns. Seigneur, ils vont envoyer les pauvres au champ de mission et les pauvres vont mourir. Quand tous les pauvres soldats vont mourir, leurs propres enfants iront en mission. On va aussi les tuer. Et ils vont comprendre comment ça fait mal. Et nous te supplions, oh Dieu. Ça en est assez. Nous voulons que les choses changent. Et nous sommes.
I know that a lot of us really don't understand this French, and that's why I will interrupt once in a while to explain to you exactly what he's saying. This is a pastor is preaching, and he's saying, he is praying, In this prayer, he's saying the time for justice. Here, he doesn't say the time for peace. They are changing their language. It's not like before they say, oh no, Havre de la Paix, Cameroon, or an island of peace. No, they have understood, like us, that peace without justice is no peace, it's useless peace. And he says God should help the people to begin to uphold the truth. And he says a lot of people, a lot of families have been killed because they spoke the truth. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? A lot of our people have been decimated just because they spoke the truth. A lot of our people have been killed just sometimes because they even just are us, are who we are. You heard him say about Mr. Paul Bia's genocidal war in the southern Cameroons. He says, oh, a lot of our brothers and sisters have been killed. Oh, no, so that they sent the children of poor people, it means soldiers, to go to the front and die. And he says, when all the children of the poor would have been killed, because I've told you a lot of times, my dear people of Ambazonian, they've never told you the truth. Aloysius Zumanto has been counting the number of La République soldiers that are killed. I guess it's about 1,600, 1,800, we're getting to 19. But the true figure from military sources tells you more than 4,000 to getting to 5,000 of their people, of their soldiers, have perished in the southern Cameroons. Yet, a lot of the times, you won't get those figures clearly because they are struggling to hide, to conceal. They don't want an insurrection. And so this pastor says, when our children, the children of the poor, who all have been killed, they will be forced to send their own children to go and die too. But that's not all. He says even more. Let's follow.
Seigneur, à un tournant décisif, Seigneur, au Dieu des élections dans notre pays, donne-nous de prendre nos engagements, Seigneur, que nous puissions voter utile, que ça cesse. Ces occasions où on vient nous tromper avec le riz, les salades, les ceci, l'huile. Seigneur, nous ne voulons plus de ça. Nous voulons des engagements sincères. Nous voulons des engagements sérieux. Nous voulons au éternel des...
Did you hear? That God should send the Holy Spirit to touch the hearts and minds of the people. That the people should vote. That the people should take good decisions when they get to the ballot box. That they have been deceived a lot with rice, bread, sardine. And that time has passed. 2025 is a decisive year. I bet you I've told you. This is in church, I'm sure at time upon you will soon take a trip to Bazou. Let's follow.
Utile que chacun prenne ses responsabilités, que chacun soit inscrit. Oui, même quand nous nous inscrivons, après on vole les voix. Vous vous inscrivez à Bazou et vous voyez que votre nom est à Douala, une autre personne vote pour vous. Mais Seigneur, tout finit par finir. Il y a un temps où tout cela va s'arrêter au nom de Jésus.
He admits one thing, that although we will register massively on voters' registers, we are in Basel. At the end of the day, on the day of elections, our name will appear on voters' registers in Douala. He says, that notwithstanding, there is an end to everything. Nothing is ever eternal. My people of Ambazonian, that is why I'm always here. That's what I continue to tell our people. Oppression has never lived forever. There is always an end to oppression. We will kick La République du Cameroon out of our land. They will leave Ambazonia in disgrace. My dear folks of the southern Cameroons, it will not be easy over there. Our noisy neighbors are making a lot of noise now. But right now, they are beginning to make useful noise. Before, they were making stupid noise by calling the people of the southern Cameroons cockroaches, roaches, or biafin, or they would deratize us, or they would... No. Now, they have stopped that one. Now they have understood that they themselves are in hell and they have to fight for their own survival.
Seigneur, de vivre dans l'espérance. Donne-nous, Seigneur, de ne pas nous décourager. Si les gens sont morts au nom de la vérité, que cela soit utile et que le sang des martyrs puisse être la semence de la justice et de la restauration de notre pays au nom puissant de Jésus. Seigneur, manifeste ta grâce et glorifie-toi.
So did you hear? He even refers to the time of the Maquisards, when martyrs were created. So it tells you that they are understanding that it will take more than just registering massively and turning out to vote massively to kick Mr. Paul Biya's evil system out of power. They are understanding that it may require them going back to the era of the Maquisards, where they used hard language and the hard method, and when martyrs were created. Well, like I said, the good news is we are watching them. In the past, we championed this kind of things and they laughed at us. Since we told them, you are on your own, they have been seeing fire. They are coming of age, my people. You want to see again? The other day I talked about Nkoteng. Let's go now to Nkoteng. Nkoteng is in the central region of La République du Cameroon. Nkoteng is even in it's not far away from Obala. Okay, yeah, Nkoteng, I think it's still part of the how do they call it? I've even forgotten those their divisions. Okay, so I can't even recall very well. Not the one I'm gonna tell you whatever is the head of the thing. But Nkoteng is after Obala, and Nkoteng is in the center region, where the workers of Sosuka went on the rampage. And I heard reports that the workers had what? They had AKs. Watch small. Oh, please don't think that is Bamenda. No, that's not Bamenda. That is not Boya. That is not Kumba. It is not Manfe. It is Nkoteng, in the center region of La République du Cameroon. Nkoteng, the center region of la République du Cameroun.
Maman, oh Seigneur, la vie d'un côté est en danger, Seigneur.
Le père de doute, il faut la chasser.
On ne voit rien.
So you can hear them. You can hear them screaming, la mort, la vie d'un Nkoteng est en danger. They often looked at those things happening in the southern Cameroons, saw such videos coming out of the southern Cameroons, and they thought they were coming from Mars. Today, they're hearing those sounds. They're getting used to it. And oh Lord, they are still at Genesis. I wonder how it will look like when they'll get to Malachi. My dear people, let's have some little fun before we get into the beef of our conversation. That was a sweet one from Manu. Oh my goodness. The Monacan dance. This is always really sweet. Each time I follow it, I was like, try to shake my shoulders. Even if I have some challenges doing that, I definitely would love to do that. Now, this morning, I took some time off to listen to one of the activists, the social media activists of La République du Cameroon, of course, my good friend Remy Ngono, who is in France. And I did get a few things from his outing of yesterday, that's Saturday, the 8th of February. But while he was talking about the history of February 11, I won't blame him. Come on, he does a lot of wonderful things. He says a lot of interesting things. He's good at what he does. And regarding the situation in the southern Cameroons, he tries his best as much as possible to give the facts whenever those he contacts actually do give him the right information. There are moments where he actually gets it totally wrong because those who feed him that information too definitely decide to mislead him. But at the core, he generally has the intention, he has the goodwill to want to give out the right information. But as a citizen of La République du Cameroon, expect him at least to be patriotic, not to the southern Cameroons, but to his country. Because when I heard him talk about the history of the 11th of February, of course, he doesn't know very much that it was called, actually, in the southern Cameroons, that celebration was actually called Empire Day. But he says the 11th of February, of course, he says it's falsehood that's being celebrated. Then we agree. I agree with him because, of course, it is falsehood. He says also that, in effect, celebrating 11th of February is a distortion of history. Of course, I agree with him because the attempt is to mask what really happened on the 11th of February and to continue promoting a lie, which unfortunately is sometimes sold even by citizens of the southern Cameroons. But in explaining it, he said that Mr. Amadou, or the first president of La République du Cameroon, El-Haj Babatoura Amadou Ahidjo, had actually proclaimed the 11th of February at some time a day of mourning before in 1963 it was decided upon that it should be celebrated as Youth Day, they decided to institute that lie. And he said there was a day of mourning because it was on that day that Cameroon lost part of its territory to Nigeria. Listen well. That Cameroon lost part of its territory to Nigeria. Why is he saying so? Because on that February 11, during the plebiscite, the people of the British Northern Cameroons voted to achieve their independence by joining Nigeria. Outrightly. While the people of the British Southern Cameroons voted to achieve their independence and join, the first one should have said, achieve their independence and join Nigeria, and the people of the Southern Cameroon voted to achieve their independence and join La République du Cameroon in a federal state, in a federal system, with two states equal in status. Now, why should La République du Cameroon say it was a day of mourning because they lost part of their territory? Was the British Northern Cameroon part of the territory of La République du Cameroon? Hurriedly say no with me. Neither was the British Southern Cameroons part of La République du Cameroon. Because this boy was making a mistake. Because he went back to 1918, 1919, during the Versailles treaties that sanctioned the end of World War I, when the Germans were defeated and they lost their entire protectorate in Africa to the Allied powers. German Cameroon, with K-A-M-E-R-U-N, was not a nation state. Let's be clear about this. Because it is that fallacy that makes them go around making some lousy claims and creating distortion by saying that we were one before. No, we were not one. The German protectorate, or the German Cameroon, was a patchwork of territories that the Germans were conquering and putting together. You know that the Germans did not sign treaties with any central authority that these are representative of the chiefs or the kings or the fonts of Cameroon. No. The Germans were signing territories with the various chiefs wherever they conquered territory. They started first of all in Douala, where they signed territories with the chiefs of Douala, and then they moved in the hinterlands. We know about the story of Zingraf and the conquests in the hinterlands. That is how even a lot of towns and cities in La République du Cameroon carry the stamp of naming of the people of Balignonga, like Bagante, Bamungum, Baleng, Badenkop, Bafang, left, right, all of that. So, the only reason that La République du Cameroon doesn't get up and make a noise that part of their territory is in Congo, that's the Republic of Congo, that part of their territory is in Central African Republic, that part of their territory is in Chad, that part of their territory is in Gabon, is because there was no nation state at that time. The German Cameroon was a patchwork of communities with which the Germans were conquering, or where the Germans were conquering or signing treaties with and trying to lump together. The existence of nation states, as we know today in Africa, began from the 1960s. The early ones came in 1958, 1959. And so therefore, La République du Cameroon became a country, became a nation state on the 1st of January 1960. And that is the day its boundaries were frozen. 1st of January 1960. There was no parcel, no morsel of Southern Cameroon's land in La République du Cameroon. Always know this. I will never miss the opportunity to remind anyone about this truth. this fact of history. Because whenever we allow this void, whenever we let them say some of those things and go with them, go say, oh, maybe people understand. No, they actually do confuse some people. No. Nothing in common. The only thing that brought us together was a plebiscite. And you know, I will always say it. After that plebiscite, it didn't mean that we sank into La République du Cameroon. After that plebiscite on February 11, on the 21st of April, 1961, the UN General Assembly held an independence vote for the Southern Cameroons. Always bear that in mind. Okay? So, that said, February 11 is a lie. A huge lie. And that is why I take this opportunity to let our people know that even the Republic of Cameroon itself knows that it's a lie. That's why they banalize it. And then they call it Youth Day. My dear people of the Southern Cameroons, have you ever seen any situation where you want to say this is a day for the youth to celebrate, and then you bar some youth from celebrating? Of course, that's the case. Take a look at this. I guess you will soon get onto our screen. I don't know, there's some technical issues we're witnessing. Once the technical department gets that clip on our screen, we'll be able to watch it. So I'm talking there, that clip is a sheet. Okay, fortunately we have been able to overcome that challenge. You see there, this is the divisional officer, a divisional officer in Yaoundé, barring the youths of who happen to militate within Maurice Kamto's MRC or CRM party, that's Cameroon Renaissance Movement, from taking part in activities marking their so-called Youth Day. That's in Yaoundé 4 subdivision in Fundi. So the decision was taken by the divisional officer whose name is Akondi Elvis Mbahangwen. And that happens to, when you get the name, you understand that is one of those slaves from the Southern Cameroons who have submitted themselves to the dictates of La République du Cameroon and who are now ridiculing them in this kind of fashion. So, Akondi Elvis Mbahangwen says he turned down the request of the CRM party from participating in Youth Day celebrations in his subdivision. My people, like I said, this kind of thing happens only when they themselves know that it is a lie. Otherwise, you see, Youth Day is a day where the youth should normally be allowed to explode. But, my dear people, the youths of the Southern Cameroons, do not allow yourself to be fooled. The philosophy of La République du Cameroon is that youths are not the future. Youths don't have a place. Youths are only an instrument in the hands of nonagenarians, in the hands of octogenarians, to use to perpetuate themselves in power. And they deceive you that you are the future. This is a very important message I'm bringing to you from one African, an African billionaire, but who has devoted his life to educate, sensitize, and open the minds of everyone on the continent. His name is Mo Ibrahim. You recall Mo Ibrahim? That is the man who squeezed Mr. Paul Biya's neck in an interview in Paris for Mr. Paul Biya to vomit out the truth that La République du Cameroon and France were on a mission to assimilate the people of the Southern Cameroons and transform us into not only citizens of La République du Cameroon, but French puppets. But that they tried and failed. That is the man who interviewed Mr. Paul Biya. Hear him out now.
Please allow me to be frank and with respect to many wonderful people around this room here. I'm going to speak in general terms. So nobody please take personal offense. I wish to start really from where President Obasanjo ended. Let us start by looking at the age issue. You politely brought it and said, I like to see a critical mass. You see, I've been president for a long time. That's why you're always careful with your words. Now, this continent is continent of young people. Half of our people here are below 20 years old. Yes? Look at the average age of our presidents. It's about 63, 64 years old. We're the only continent in the world where we have presidents at 90 years old starting new terms. I mean, you guys are crazy or what?
Did he say at 90 years old? I thought he should have been saying at 92 or 93 years old. Starting new terms. Not new terms of 3 years. Not new terms of 4 years. Not new terms of 5 years. New terms of 7 years. And they're already looking forward to the next term after that one. Continue, Mr. Ibrahim.
We've seen people in wheelchairs, you know, unable to raise hands to standing for elections. This is a joke. Yes, you are right to laugh because the whole world is laughing at us. You know, I always say, I mean, you look around you. You look, United States, an economy of 15, 16 trillion dollars. We, all of Africa, are less than $1 trillion. This is a 15, 16 trillion dollar economy, right? The most important country in the world, like it or not. Obama, who happened to be half African anyway, become president when he's 46, 47 years old. He's president. If Obama was in Kenya, what he will be doing now? He will be driving a bus maybe. Yeah? You look, really, and he's not the youngest president. Clinton was younger than him. Clinton became president at 46 years old. Kennedy was 40 years old, 40 odd subsequent years old when he became president. Why these big countries, much bigger than us, entrust their economies, their nuclear weapons, their oil resources to people who are in their 40s? And we only pick up people at 90 years old to lead us. To lead us where? To the grave?
So, does it need any interpretation? Does it need any interpretation? To lead you where? To the graves? Because their future is behind them. That is why I tell the people of the southern Cameroons, when you sit, you find nonagenarians, octogenarians come and sit and tell you, oh no, probably is the best thing that happened. Oh no, we have to stay with our Republic of Cameroon because someone are indivisible. Where are they leading you to? To the graves? I'm making Mo Ibrahim. Nobody could say it better than Mo Ibrahim. Look at that country that they are struggling to bind us to. A country that only believes in gerontocracy. Look at the Speaker of the Assembly, Kavai Yege Jibi. Then he will move like a duck. He doesn't even know where he is a lot of the day. I heard somebody describe him as sleeping 23 of the 24 hours of the day. But that is the Speaker of the National Assembly. Somebody who is passing laws. The other one, President of the Senate. That is the person who will take over and run the country in case something happens to the president. 90 years old. Not defending Marcel. Oh, where is he even? For a long time now, he lives from one hospital to the other. He can't even walk. Nobody even knows where he is. The president of the Constitutional Council, you see the way Mo Ibrahim described all of them. You look at Peter Mafani Musonge. I called one of my teachers at the Advanced School of Mass Communication at the time Used to call him Peter Malfini Musonge. Look at him. Grand Chancellor of National Orders. That's why he will tell you, no, there is no such thing as Southern Cameroons. It does not exist. You people want to remove food from my mouth. Joseph Diongu Tetu is 80-something years. Young Philemon is the other way, 80-something years. All of them, all they do is tell you lies, feed you with illusions. Tomorrow is February 10. This Monday will be February 10. Of course, it's Country Sunday in the Southern Cameroon. I'm sure you're aware that there's a lockdown in operation until the morning of the 12th of February in all of Ambazonian. Tomorrow, maybe they'll use AI, deep fake, to record some of that speech and come and tell you that Bobby has spoken. And you come to remind you the youth, you are the future. No, you can't even say English. C'est la jeunesse, c'est le fer de l'ange de la nation. Oh yeah, the youth are the future. He will tell you, drop your sticks and come, else I will deal with you, because that's all he can tell you. My dear people of Ambazonian, we have to do all it takes to separate ourselves the fastest possible from such a people who are totally lost, who have lost it all, who have no idea what making a country develop is all about. This is why we are in this liberation movement. There are some among us who got so lost that they allowed themselves to be used like toilet tissue and dumped like they dump every other one. And today, on the eve of your day, they are crying profusely. One of such persons is a gentleman who calls himself Dr. Cho Waters Aye. You see in that screenshot, he isn't speaking in French. Il says, le recrutement de 150 enseignants dans l'université d'État au Cameroun montre un phénomène de tribalisme à ciel ouvert. Look, take note. I'm coming to tell you, I'm coming to open your brains again very well about who he is. So he is saying that the recent recruitment of 150 lecturers in the university system in Cameroon demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that the phenomenon of tribalism in Cameroon is at a level never before seen anywhere. He says, aucun anglophone, first of all, I'm not anglophone if you call yourself anglophone. Il dit, aucun anglophone n'a été recruté par la faculté des sciences économiques et de gestion de l'université de Bolova. Alors que nous étions 2 candidats anglophones qui ont soumis leur candidature à cette faculté. He said, no one from the Southern Cameroons was recruited in Bolova. And there were 2 of them on the Southern Cameroons who put it, he said, I have been held back 3 times. Then he has put his file for recruitment at during 3 different occasions and has been held back by the government of Cameroon. Purely and simply, he says, purement et simplement parce que je parle anglais. Really? That he has been denied employment 3 consecutive times simply because he is from Southern Cameroon, because he speaks English. J'ai réalisé pourquoi la crise anglophone n'a pas encore pris fin. Aya says, I now understand why the Southern Cameroon's conflict, why the conflict in the Southern Cameroon, the armed confrontation in the Southern Cameroon has not ended. He said, I now understand really. Okay. C'est dès maintenant, je vais retrouver mon état d'esprit au début de la crise anglophone en 2016. Hear what he says, eh? He says, from today, I will go back to the state of mind that I had at the start of this conflict, of this crisis that became an armed confrontation in 2016. And he says, depuis 42 ans, ce régime dictatorial mange ses propres enfants. In fact, I don't care about the rest. He says, je suis déçu, I'm disappointed. We will see. Je prendrai des mesures nécessaires. On va voir. See, we will see. I will take the necessary measures. What measures is Dr. Chuo Waters planning to take? For the little history, my people of Ambazonian, Dr. Chuo Waters says himself that in 2016, he was part of the coffin revolution with Manchu Bibixi, who is in jail, who's been in jail since 2017. And that he was a full participant in it. And then he adds that but when in 2017 he now accuses us, we turned the thing to become that of something of the independence of the southern Cameroons. That's when he turned his back because he believed in one and indivisible. He refuses to say that they dangled a few coins. He fell for those few coins. They made a few stupid promises. And he landed in the delusion of believing that as soon as he defends his PhD in 2020, he will be hired immediately. He will be a lecturer. He will be something. He will be given a position to lord it over us. Ayer became not only a social media personality, he was on every single television channel in La République du Cameroon. He was on Television Mille Collines. I've named Vision Card. He was on CRTV. He was on Equinox. He was everywhere, slamming our liberation movement, slamming the quest of the people of the southern Cameroons for freedom, claiming that Pobia was Ayop, the best thing that ever happened, insisting that there was no such thing as a southern Cameroon's problems, that were just agitators. This Ayer, this Chuo Waters Ayer. He screamed this all over on the rooftops because they deceived him. Just like they deceived so many other people. They deceived so many and are still deceiving a good lot in the southern Cameroons to believe that they will get something. I've said it on this platform. I repeat it over and over. That is a system I know to my fingertips. Nothing good can ever come out of that system. Nobody that has stood up, screamed, said all kinds of trash about our liberation movement to favor La République du Cameroon has ever gotten anything. Nothing. Nobody. Not one. You're doubting? Where's our brother Ekema? What did they offer him? Death. You're still doubting? Where is Moja Moja? All right? You have an idea exactly where he is. You are doubting? Where is Clovis Nasseri? You are doubting? What has Nkonda Titus got? Apart from the few francs that they give him once in a while, he will fly to Cameroon, fly back, fly to Yaoundé, fly back, and make a lot of noise. So, I went to the presidency, they gave me 15 million, and all of those. Just see the change involved here. What has any of them ever gotten? Where is Yannick Kawakawa? Nothing. Just a while ago, I was talking about General Savior. Where is he? Before him, many others. Nothing. They use you, they squeeze you, and they dump you. Dr. Chuo Waters even wrote a book in which he venerated Pobia to a level never before known. He even offered himself to go provide information about Southern Cameroonians involved in this liberation movement. And he himself said the DGRO, that's the Directorate General for External Research, the torture chamber of La République du Cameroon. They took him to the South region that was going to Sibia, and they received him several times at the Unity Palace, where he went to tell tales about his people, to auction, betray his people, hoping that he would get something. But 3 consecutive times at the hiring to the public service, they told him to go to hell. Today, he is spitting fire and brimstone. I was just taking a quiet sip of my coffee today, listening to him as I listened to him ranting on Jipo Remingono's outing of yesterday, Saturday, February 8th. And I took the pains to record an excerpt for our listening, learning, and loving pleasure. Here we go.
Était celui-là qui portait pour lui. Dr. Chouateur était celui-là qui portait pour lui au Panthéon, qui disait qu'il est tout bon, qu'il est sain, qu'il est même comme le bonbon. Titulaire de doctorat, elle se disait que parce qu'il fait la talakou à Colombia, il pourrait bénéficier de quelque chose, d'autant plus que il a même été auprès de la famille présidentielle. Il a même été invité au palais.
Do you hear how Remingono is mocking at him? This is what happens. I said here the other day, when you make yourself banana, monkeys will eat you. When you make yourself what? Banana, monkeys will feast on you. And this is exactly what is happening to Cho Waters, I hear. Here Remingono says that he sang Paul Bia's praises, even said Paul Bia was sweeter than bonbon. Oh, that Paul Bia was sweeter than candies. And he says that because he thought that because he was doing what, dancing that thing that they call atalaku, that's bending the knee, shaking his waist, doing everything, doing the rope dance for Paul Bia, he will get all the goodies. Hell no. Let's hear him gonna finish describing him again before start listening to the Ngaput.
Palais présidentiel. Il est donc devenu un agent de propagande. La preuve, il a écrit un livre. Tout un livre de poésie allant non seulement de la chronologie de toute la vie et même des supercheries, tout enjolivé pour dire que Paul Biya était certainement l'homme le plus intelligent. Et d'ailleurs, docteur, j'aime bien le regarder, comment il se dépouille même sur des plateaux où c'est climatisé, il transpire, il bagarre pour dire que faisons encore.
Chai, although this is lovable, but I still feel ashamed because he hails from the southern Cameroons. You hear what I'm gonna say? That the man even wrote a book, a lot of poetry, where he used all kinds of superlatives imaginable to say Paul Biya was the most intelligent person that has ever existed on the planet Earth. And that sometimes you could see him on television, on TV panels during debates. He said even when the room has AC, when the room had the cooling system, you see him fighting, you even see him sweating in cold, fighting for Paul Biya to show that he is a real defender of Biya. Oh Lord, what a shame. What an embarrassment. This is how Ngono is describing. This is a citizen of La République du Cameroon. A citizen of La République du Cameroon. This is the image he has of Aye. This is Aye. That's the image he has of him. To put it simple, Ngono is here saying, Aye is not only a nincompoop, is not only a lunatic, but he is in short, he's not only delusional, but he's a lost soul. Anyway, let's hear again.
Confiance à Paul Biya. Au moment où, bien sûr, tout le monde se pose des questions que, à 90 ans, qu'est-ce que Paul Biya peut faire? Dr. Joe Walters a pondu un livre donc pour supplier Paul Biya de se présenter. Il est considéré comme un traître auprès de la communauté, auprès de sa communauté.
You hear that at the time when they expected every reasonable person to be telling Paul Biya for La République du Cameroon citizens that it is time for you to pass the torch. Aye wrote a book, the one showing that he was literally rolling on his stomach to beg Paul Biya to be candidate again. And then Ngono says he's considered a traitor to the people of the southern Cameroons. Of course, he's definitely also saying a traitor even to the citizens of La République du Cameroon. Who did you finally please now, bro? Okay.
Il est parti de son village pour venir rester à Yaoundé. Il a même sacrifié beaucoup de choses. Et là, il se disait que cette fois-ci, parce qu'il a tellement beaucoup travaillé et qu'il a chanté le nom de Paul Biya partout, il sera recruté enfin chez Paul Biya, à l'université de Bolova. Si ce n'est pas ça, il pourrait même accepter une affectation à Bertois. Docteur a attendu. On attend. On dit, docteur, il dit c'est moi. Oh! On entend tout simplement que Tchanga. Bon, il attend encore. Docteur, wow! Il dit c'est moi. On dit wow.
Oh, Ngono, please have pity for this guy now. If you, I suppose you understand what Ngono is saying, I say have some pity for this fellow. Ngono says the man believed that because he had done all kinds of things for Paul Biya, that with the special recruitment of the recent special recruitment of 150 university lecturers, he must be recruited, at least in a Bolova, in Paul Biya's own region. And that was, he could accept even to go and manage life in Betrayal. And the way Ngono was putting it there is so funny. He said, so when the time came and they were calling, he said, doctor, he said, my name, nothing. They said, worm. They said, doctor, he said, my name, they said, Shanking. They said, doctor, my name, they said, wow. This is what happens to traitors. This is what happens to people who turn against their own people. This is what always happens to people who take sides with the oppressor when their people are being annihilated. You aren't gonna say that he left his village, he left his menchum, and moved over to Yaoundé, that he even sacrificed a lot of things. He was thinking about himself. He didn't care about the plight of his brothers and sisters who are being killed, sisters who are being raped, his people who are being looted, his fathers and mothers whose villages, houses, and everything, whose livelihoods have been burnt and reduced to ashes. He was thinking of himself. And Paul Biya knows how to take care of such people. Let's go.
Qu'il a été utilisé et qu'il n'était pas respecté. Et qu'aujourd'hui, il est totalement jeté, comme il ne le considère pas exactement comme ses frères. Dr. Joe Walters a accepté m'accorder une interview. Au regard de quelques sorties qu'il faisait déjà sur sa page Facebook. J'ai senti du chiel, j'ai senti de la colère. Et c'est pour ça que j'ai sollicité la voix pour qu'il puisse.
So just in 30 seconds, you listen to the so-called Dr. Joe Walters here himself. Just be patient.
Nous expliquer justement ses prises de position et surtout ce qu'il entendait faire après cette déception, après cette désillusion, puisque de toutes les façons, il était convaincu que il ne pouvait pas, le régime libyen ne pouvait pas et ne devait pas l'oublier. À l'instar de tout cela, je ressens de la frustration. Dr. Joe Walters, à cœur ouvert, n'a pas manqué de dire ses vérités, et ses vérités d'ailleurs, que je vous invite à écouter à partir de cet instant. Joe Walters. Bonjour, grand frère, je parle Mingolo.
Pay attention and listen to some of the few things that the lunatic will say.
Nous vous contactons aujourd'hui par rapport à la situation qui prévaut actuellement au niveau de recrutement à l'université et nous avons constaté que vous êtes en colère. Expliquez-vous pourquoi êtes-vous en colère? Je suis en colère parce que ce recrutement a été biaisé par le tribalisme, le népotisme, la corruption. Et je dénonce le tribalisme état dans ce recrutement. Voilà pourquoi je suis très en colère. Nos listes sont parties des boulevard pour le monsieur et on a modifié ses noms à la primature. Je parle ici de moi qui étais prévu sur la liste pour la faculté des sciences.
You hear what he says? That he is mad, so angry, because the recruitment in the Bolova was mad by so much tribalism. Just so you know, for the recruitments in the Bolova, nobody who emanates or who hails from outside the center, south, and east was hired to teach at the University of Ebolova, yeah. The University of Ebolova, all who were hired to teach there are Ekam, Bulu Ekam Beti. If you're not Bulu Ekam Beti, you're not qualified to be in Ebolova. But elsewhere, go to the University of Bamenda, you find Bulu Ekam Beti. Go to University of Boya, you find Bulu Ekam Beti. Go to everywhere, you find Bulu Ekam Beti. But in Ebolova, no. Nobody from anywhere else is keen enough to be hired there. I've told you that is going to be very interesting in our Republic of Cameroon this 2025. Because the youths of the three northern regions, Adamawa, North, and Far North, felt extremely humiliated that none of them was hired to teach in Ebolova or in Betwa. Either Ebolova or Betwa. But they say in the University of Marwa and the University of Ngaoundé, everywhere there, Bulu Ekam Beti people are all over the place. And so they are even threatening to take to the streets in Ngaoundé on the 21st of May, the 21st of this month. They are swearing fire and brimstone on the streets. You know, we saw a foretaste of what some of them in the northern regions there can do. You recall 2 days ago I showed you the Tupuris, right? Take a quick watch. Let's just pass the flash. These two police came out here with machetes, with spears, with sticks, with cutlasses, with all kinds of things. Oh yes, that's how they do their own demonstration. They don't know that thing that we in the southern Cameroon call peaceful demonstrations. Because we started, it was all peaceful demonstrations. Until they started killing us, until they got us to the point where we couldn't bear it again. And then people went and took their damn guns to defend themselves. Oh no, they don't know that thing in the northern regions. That's why I say, my people, ear march. Ear what? Ear march. Right ahead. So this Aye, where he's swearing or saying all kinds of trash, he says his name was the first on the list when he was interviewed in Ebolova. And he says by the time the names got to the Prime Minister's office, his name and the name of another fellow Southern Cameroonian were removed at the Prime Minister's office and replaced with the name of someone who defended his PhD thesis just 3 months back. We said 3 weeks prior to the launching of the recruitment exercise. And again, that's another interesting development. Who is Prime Minister? Who is Prime Minister? Joseph John Gute. But how could they remove the names of the only Southern Cameroonians? And when a Southern Cameroonian's name was even the first on the list in terms of merit, under the watchful eyes of John Gute. Of course, he's not in control. He certainly just heard that list pass like that. Knows nothing that's going on there. The real power base with the Secretary General, Fuda. You hear the name? Fuda. This is what I keep telling our people. But they will call on you now to send your children out on the 11th of February to go and die. And they themselves will send their dogs out to attack these children because they want to name us terrorists. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about our lives. All what they care are the resources that they are extorting from our land. That's all they care. All they care is maintaining us in slavery and servitude. That is what matters to them. By the time you'll be risking sending your children in harm's way this Tuesday, don't say I didn't warn you. I've said, and I repeat over and over, my concern, my focus is the safety of the civilian population. La République du Cameroon generally plays dirty, very dirty. Don't risk the lives of your children to please some lost souls calling themselves members of the CPDM crime syndicate. They will come fool you with some bread and sardine, 5,000, 2,000, 2 bottles of beer to send your children in harm's way. Don't. Keep your children at home. I'm saying this to my people in Bengui, in Mezam, in Meme, in Manu, in Fako, all over the southern Cameroons. Don't send your children in harm's way and don't fall to a lie all the time. Continually going out there to ridicule yourselves is painful. Just see how Aye has ridiculed, has made a fool of himself. Just see the adjectives that Ngono used in describing him. I'm sure even you who are watching me at home, you must be feeling so horrified. You must be feeling so ashamed in his place. This is what I'm talking about. Let's take a few bites of him and we'll get out of here.
Je parle ici du docteur Bila, bienvenu. Il était prévu sur la liste dans le département de l'histoire de ses écoles vacances arrivant à la primature. Son nom a été gratté. Il a 25 articles et
So he says, I'm really mad, because it's the third time that I'm being held back. Really mad. So it's only now that I is realizing, until he uses the word marginalisation. Hear him again. So I can even let him go there. This is exactly why we are fighting. This is why we have been fighting for 8 years. To restore the soul of our land. To restore our dignity as people. To create a level playing ground where everyone can blossom. To create a society where merit will take center stage, where you will not be appointed or hired to a job because of who you know or because of where you come from or because of what language you speak. That's what we have been fighting for 8 years. That is what Aya, Joe Waters Aya, has been trashing on all television channels all over the place. And today, he has the effrontery. He has the guts to come and say he's angry. Je suis en colère. He has the guts to say he's marginalized because he's Southern Cameroonian. And you don't even know. That's not all. Cho says he wants to go back to his state of mind that he had in 2016 when he participated in the Coffin Revolution. He even says that he's going to organize demonstrations, peaceful demonstrations. Aya is talking about peaceful demonstrations where? Oh, I guess he knows he will not even try that in the Southern Cameroons. And then he says that he's a coordinator of all the demonstrations that are going to be organized in Gaoundéré, in Garua, in Marwa, in wherever, in other cities. He's the main coordinator. He says he's even announcing a press briefing, and that he has sought he's seeking authorization to organize a press briefing, but goes ahead to say if the administration does not give him that authorization, he will hold it impromptu in a private location that will be announced just the day it will be happening, and he will organize his demonstration one way or the other. I have a message for Aya. Mr. Aya, I just want you to know. You see where Moja ended? You are on your way there. If you are lucky, because you may even simply be gone down, you're on your way there. That is the fate reserved for those who betray their people. In the Republic of Cameroon, once you betray your people, the Southern Cameroons, the Republic of Cameroon uses you, squeezes everything out of you, and you get up one day and want to talk, they teach you a lesson. You're on your way, and you are on your own. That's the saddest thing, because you are on your own. None of us from the Southern Cameroon raise a voice and say, oh no, they're one of us. No. You had told us to go to hell. And unfortunately for you, Mr. Joe Waters Aya, you are rather on the way to hell before us. This life, I'm sure if you found time and listened to our brother Nambere, who found himself in the Republic du Cameroon, ready to work with them against his own people, and saw for himself what he saw, he is the luckiest of all to have been aided again by Ambazonian to run out of there. You want to know what it takes? Consult our brother Nambere. He has a very rich repertoire, and he will tell you exactly where you are headed. Because he himself survived it when they wanted to take even his own life in a Kondo Titi. When he saw the level of cruelty, I said, this is going to be too cruel. And they said, who are you? I am. Don't say you were not warned. We called your attention to this 1,001 times. But you said we should go to hell. Now you are in hell. And like I said, unfortunately, you're not only in hell, but you are on your own. That's the sad reality. I say this and I always repeat, let us be careful the things we do. Anytime you turn against your people and you side with an oppressor, that oppressor immediately knows you are a traitor and they can never trust you. You will never get anything out because they know that at the least opportunity, you will also betray them. That's what it is. Go online, do research about what happens to telltales, about what happens to people who betray, who turn against their own people. Find out how they end. There is none who has ever ended well. I told our people here several times about what happened to the people of Eritrea, who are also members of the ruling party in Indonesia, like those members of the CPDM crime syndicate. I've always called to them what happened to the elite of Eritrea, of East Timor, I beg your pardon, of East Timor. What happened to them in Indonesia? When the time came, when the result of a referendum proved that the people of East Timor, over 90%, do not want to have anything to do with Indonesia. The people of Indonesia refused to accept the decision by those traitors to take Indonesian nationality or to stay in Indonesia. They pushed them into East Timor. I don't want to discuss what happened to them. The history books are there, go and research. Anytime you turn against your own people, it really never ends well. These are simple facts of life that some people keep playing around with. No, you never win. You will never win. Because no side will trust you. Never. I want to thank each and every one of you who was part of this broadcast. I want to thank you for your sacrifices. I know we are getting to about 11:25, 11:30 p.m. In Ikom in Nigeria. That should be about the same time in Ekok, in Ambazonian, the same time in Ewele. My people, it should be the same time in Ekonalilu. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Share the link as much as you can and make sure we reach as many more people as we can reach. If it touches your heart to contribute to this liberation movement, please don't hesitate to do so. Until we meet again, stay wise, stay strong, have a nice time.